Hello there guys and welcome back to 100% Chelsea from a preview of the Chelsea vs Stoke City game taking place tomorrow afternoon with the kickoff being at 3 PM UK time. And this video is again done in cooperation with Ladbrokes, and the odds we had for you last week were good. But this week they're actually crazy. Odds of 33 to 1 for a goal to be scored in the game. Any team, just a goal to be scored. Like, you're basically guaranteed to win if you bet on that. So click the Ladbrokes link in the description, sign up by using the promo code GOAL, make a minimum deposit of £5 and you can make bets of a maximum of £1 with those mental odds. Your winnings will then be paid in free bets, so if you do this, you're almost guaranteed to get free bets and use them to make some good money in the future basically. Because let's face it, we basically always score at home, and last time we played Stoke we beat them 4-0. So like I said, click the link in the description to sign up. You'd also be helping us out a lot as well to help us afford better equipment and also bring the best possible content for you from all over England and Europe. But now getting into the preview and talking about opposition, obviously Stoke. And before I speak about their recent form in the league position, etc., which isn't great to begin with, they're almost facing an injury crisis at the back at the moment. Similarly to when we played Stoke back in September actually. Bruno Martins-Indi, Ryan Shawcross, Glenn Johnson are all definitely out injured. Eric Peters will most likely also miss the game, and Kurt Zouma obviously can't play as we're his parent club. Definitely makes things slightly easier for us, especially to score, which remember, 33 to 1 odds if you click the link in the description. Stoke are currently in 13th, which doesn't sound too bad at all, but with 20 points, they're only 3 points above the relegation zone, even though they are in 13th. So far this season, they've recorded 5 wins, 5 draws and 10 defeats, scoring an acceptable 23 goals, but conceding an outrageously bad 41 goals, by far the most of anyone in the league. Only West Ham have conceded almost as many as them, with 38. And their last few results haven't been great either. They got hammered 5-1 by Spurs a few weeks ago, lost to Burnley, got smashed 3-0 by West Ham. Then they did beat West Brom 3-1, but West Brom really aren't doing well themselves either, to be fair. And then on Boxing Day, Stoke drew 1-0 away at Huddersfield. But going forward, you should never underestimate Stoke. They do have good players, even though they have lost their, in my opinion, best player, Arnautovic, last summer. They still have Shaqiri, Choupo-Moting, and Peter Crouch is always a danger as well. So things aren't looking great for Stoke, but you can never take their attack too lightly. Coming to Antonio Conte's press conference, and as you can see from the title, there's a lot of interesting stuff to talk about today. But it did start off with team news, and Conte said that everyone that was available last week is available. No new injury concerns. He also said that Charlie Musonda and David Luiz are both improving a lot. Conte isn't sure if they'll be ready for the next game, which is obviously Arsenal, but he said for the game against Norwich in the Cup they will be ready. Conte said the same players are available, so Christensen wasn't available with illness last game, so I'm not sure if he'll be back fit or not, but I'd say he probably is. And then Conte was asked about the contract extension situation for both Thibaut Courtois, whose contract runs until June of 2019, and also Eden Hazard, who has a contract until 2020. Conte said contract negotiations and situations are a private conversation between the player, the agent and the club, so he didn't really say much about it. But there is more to the situation with Hazard, as his father, Thierry Hazard, spoke to the French/Belgian newspaper Le Soir, I'm not sure whether they're French or Belgian to be honest, and said a few things that us Chelsea fans won't be very happy about. He said that Eden has turned down a contract extension by Chelsea to leave the door open for a transfer to Real Madrid if they do make a move. But he also said that there has been no contact with Madrid, and also that Eden is only one of 2 parts in the contract with Chelsea obviously. On the other hand though, Matt Law, English journalist obviously, has reported that while there have been contract talks between the club and Hazard, Chelsea have not made an offer so far. They will in the new year and really want to time down, but they haven't so far, which obviously contradicts what Hazard's father said by saying Hazard already turned the contract down, so that doesn't really make sense. But what you always do have to remember, that his father, Thierry Hazard, is Eden Hazard's agent basically, and this is what agents do. Give interviews like this, say things like this, for different reasons. 1, to poke Real Madrid and see if they're even interested. But 2, and more so number 2, I think, to get more money out of Chelsea for the new contract. Especially if you've read the book The Secret Footballer, you'll know that that's just how it goes in football, and most fans don't even know about it or understand. I'm not saying that's 100% what's happening. I'm not saying, you know, he's just trying to get more money for his son out of, you know, the contract extension that Chelsea will eventually offer him in the new year. But in my opinion, that is what is going on. So yes, I understand why a lot of people are panicking. When I first read it, I was like, no, either this isn't true or I'm panicking basically. When I found out it is true, I started to panic a little bit. But, you know, you have to take time, calm down a little bit and think about it logically. And it wouldn't make sense otherwise. Also, we still hold all the cards. He has a contract running still for 2.5 years, which is still a long time. Like, we're not even in the year of 2018 yet, and his contract runs until 2020. And if we don't want to sell, we don't have to sell. If Real Madrid came in with an offer, yes, Hazard likes Zidane. Zidane likes Hazard. Yes, he think about it, but he's not like unloyal to Chelsea. He just maybe want to better himself. And that's why I want us to do really well in the upcoming transfer windows, because I think we have to give players like Eden Hazard and also Thibaut Courtois players around them that they feel like they could achieve something with as a team. And maybe with the recent transfers we have made, they don't necessarily feel like that. I'm talking about players like Zappacosta, Bakayoko, who will possibly become a great player, but isn't yet. And we need players now if we want to be successful now. Yeah, like that's just football. You can't buy a player now to be great in 5 years when you're not that great right now. I'm not saying we're bad, but we're not as good as Man City and we're nowhere near. And if we want to compete with them over the next few years, we have to, spend to get big players, to keep players like Eden Hazard, like Alvaro Morata over the long term when he improves even more, like Thibaut Courtois, those kind of players, to keep them happy, to keep them at the club long term. You have to have players around them that they feel like they can achieve something with. But like I said, don't panic already with everything that was said by Eden Hazard's father. It is an agent thing, I think. And if it isn't, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But that's just my opinion. Then Conte also spoke about his own future and said he's very happy to stay at Chelsea. But for the upcoming transfer window, he has hopes that we can find the right players to improve the squad on the numerical aspect and also quality-wise as well. Conte said he actually likes that in England there are games during the Christmas period. He enjoys the atmosphere a lot and the players feel the same. But he did say if there could be a little break after the Christmas period, that would be good to prepare for the final push of the season. And that's also what I'd like to see in England, to be honest. Don't stop playing on Boxing Day. Don't stop playing on New Year's. But take 2-3 weeks off in January after New Year's, just to give us a better chance, to give English teams a better chance of competing in Europe, and also the English national team to do better in, major tournaments over the summer like World Cup and Euros, because they feel that effect. All the others have a break. Even in Spain they have a little break, not that long, but especially in Germany they have like almost 2 months off. So like, of course they're going to be fresher in the summer. And I think it would be good to take a break in January, but, I'm not sure if that's on the cards. But Conte said it, and I'll just agree with it, basically. And then Conte was asked about Barbarama, which I found quite interesting, because he hasn't really been the topic of discussion in the media lately. Barbarama was obviously out on loan at Schalke last season and picked up a bad injury, as far as I know, a very complicated ACL injury. Conte said it's a good question what will happen to him, which, I find a bit weird of an answer anyway. But Conte said at the moment he's struggling a little bit to find the right physical form, Barbarama that is. Conte would like to give Bob a chance, both as a player and also on the human aspect of things, but he doesn't know what will happen to him. If he will go out on loan, play, for the club to get a chance, or even take longer from his injury and recover, because he's not yet ready, like I said. He still has to be patient, and he has been patient so far with recovering from his injury, and it takes some time to recover from an injury that bad. That's it from the press conference. Now coming to Chelsea and coming to my predicted lineup. And even though we're playing Arsenal on January 3rd, obviously, I don't think there will be much rotation tomorrow, as we obviously play Norwich after Arsenal, and we'll rest some players against them, I reckon. So my predicted lineup for tomorrow is, well, actually, I would like to go 3-4-3 with Kante and Fabregas in the middle, but I don't know if Conte will go for that. But yeah, let's go for that. I'll go for that. So 3-4-3, Thibaut Courtois in goal, Cesar Spilicueta, Andreas Christensen, if he's back from illness, and Gary Cahill as the 3 centre-backs, Victor Moses and Marcos Alonso as the 2 wing-backs, with N'Golo Kante and Cesc Fabregas as the 2 central midfielders, Eden Hazard and Willian on the wing, with Alvaro Morata up front. Actually, just thinking about it, as Stoke have started with Peter Crouch up front recently, even if Christensen is fit, you could pick the same back 3 that we had against Brighton, with Cahill as the central centre-back. Christensen is a class player, don't get me wrong. Don't be telling me that I don't rate him. But Cahill is certainly better in the air and physically stronger, which could help taking Crouch out of the game and stop Stoke from playing long balls to him to lay it off to Shaqiri, Choupo-Moting, etc. But I doubt Conte will do that, even though I don't think it would be a bad shout at all, because Christensen, he isn't short, of course, but he isn't very tall. And Crouch is very, very tall. So Christensen will probably struggle a little bit to win aerial battles against him. So it's just a shout I have, but, probably Conte won't go for that. But obviously, if we do go 3-5-2 rather than 3-4-3, you're basically just going to have Bakayoko instead of Willian in there, I suppose. But, we'll obviously have to wait and see for tomorrow. And now I'm basically going to say similar things that I said before with the Brighton game. Let's make use of Stoke's injury problems. Let's take our chances, for goodness sake. And let's get a good win. A lot of teams recently have just set very deep against us to keep them from scoring. And we've kind of struggled a fair bit at dealing with that. Obviously against Everton and also against Brighton, it took us a fair bit to actually, score. After that it was easier, but until we get that first goal, it's very difficult. So chances are Stoke will do the same thing. But we did manage to break down Brighton eventually, and could have scored more than we did. So if we take our chances, I'm confident we can get a comfortable win against Stoke. And my score prediction is a good 3-0 win. I mean, I'd love for us to score more, but, a good 3-0 win is my score prediction. As I'm sure most of you lot feel similarly to me for that game, Make sure you make use of that Ladbrokes offer. Click the link in the description. Sign up using the promo code GOAL. Make a minimum deposit of £5 to make use of those crazy 33-1 odds for any team scoring. Like, that is actually mental if you just think about it properly. Those are crazy odds. And then you can take maximum bets of £1 and these winnings will then be paid in free bets. To be honest, you'd just be a little bit silly not to make use of that offer, I'm not going to lie. But that's really it from me. Leave me your thoughts on the game, your predicted lineups and your score predictions down in the comment section below. Leave a like if you have enjoyed the video, we'd massively appreciate that. Also check out my social media, which is Laos1507 on both Instagram and Twitter, as you can see over here. Just be class if you could follow me there, I'd appreciate that. And don't forget to subscribe to 100% Chelsea if you haven't already. Just click that button up there and you can subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea. And I'll see you next time.